October 5th, 2018, and a handful of plays is all it took to set off an avalanche of questions. Who the heck is this kid? And how did he end up here? All right, what's the next game on his schedule? Because I think BYU has an NFL quarterback here in Zach Wilson. And it didn't take very long for NFL quarterback to become NFL starting quarterback. In fact, we were telling people to tune into the bowl game between BYU and Western Michigan to watch this kid. And then he went 18 of 18 for 317 yards and 4 touchdowns. So in 2019, we expected him to be the best kept secret in the college football ranks heading into season 2, and it never really materialized. He didn't take the jump. But in 2020, the cat is out of the bag. And I'm surprised we're here. Because Zach Wilson isn't an NFL starter. Zach Wilson is quarterback 1. And before we cover his traits, we cannot emphasize this enough. Zach Wilson is the only quarterback in this draft who has the trinity. Plus off-platform arm talent. Ball placement instinct that grades plus. Vision that grades plus. This is the trinity of quarterback creativity. If you have this, there are 4, 6, 8 plays a game that you are going to save your offensive coordinator turning a bad outcome into a positive outcome, and that wins games. Ever since Mahomes came out, evaluators have been chasing this. What is the actual components that makes up this creativity? Plus arm talent off platform. Vision, ball placement instinct. That is the backbone. That is the backbone of traits for every one of these quarterbacks who are creative. From Steve Young, John Elway, Aaron Rodgers, and Brett Favre. Being a Packers fan, I grew up watching 2 of them. And the evaluation system that we built echoes that. And it's why we said Patrick Mahomes is going to the Hall of Fame before the draft. And the same evaluation system says Zach Wilson is quarterback 1 in this draft. And when we go through these traits, it'll be very easy to see why. You start off with arm talent on platform, and he has a zip cap that's pushing out to 30 yards, which means he can throw it without turning up his shoulders, just on pure arm talent and on platform mechanics, 30 yards on a line. He can do just about that in the 25-yard range off platform. On platform, he is the second best arm talent in the class in the short and intermediate because there's a guy named Trey Lance. But off platform, right now his mechanics and the way he throws are more sound than Trey, putting him ahead of Trey Lance, even in that category. On the deep ball, he comes in 3rd across the board. He is tied with Justin Fields behind Trey Lance and behind Trevor Lawrence. And this is an area where if you're one of the people who says Zach Wilson is like Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, that discussion ends. Because off platform, you realize that with Zach Wilson, he is a very base torque player. And what I mean by that is he generates a vast majority of his torque on his throws from the waist down. And when you see him off platform, if he is bringing his momentum towards the wide receiver, he can throw it with every bit of his force. But if he can't have that torque going towards the wide receiver and has to throw it away, it shortens his zip cap, it shortens his deep ball, and that's what takes some of it off. You don't see that with Rodgers. You don't at all see that with Mahomes. So while there are some of the flair plays on film, don't think you're getting Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers. He's not that level. And one of his lower grading traits is actually his athleticism, which is still a positive. It is on the lower level of tight end mobile spectrum that we have as a grade. And this gets him a slight advantage over the average quarterback. Nothing drastic, but it is still a positive. But this is able to shine because of his pocket mobility. And while people will say, well, he never was under pressure, that's simply not true. Go back to 2019, look at his work versus Tennessee, USC, and Washington. He was put under a lot of stress in those games. He was put under stress against Utah. He has the ability to slide in the pocket, to keep his eyes downfield, and to continue to find where his checkdowns and his outlets are. He's doing a very good job buying extra time in the pocket. The only time that you see him frazzled in any way, shape, or form is when the pocket actually just condenses in on him, but that is something that is very common for a lot of quarterbacks. And the reason for that is that base torque, because he tries to be so far over his front foot when he's letting that ball go to generate as much push as he possibly can. He doesn't like being in a condensed space because he can't step into and lean into a throw in quite the same manner. And because of his throwing motion, because of the way that he does lean into the throws and get a little over his front foot, there are little areas where you can critique his mechanics, but that is not the right way to grade mechanics. The right way to grade mechanics is to see the result and then take it back to the mechanics. If the result is what Zach Wilson wanted to create, then I don't care how he threw it. He put it where he wanted it to be. And that is regularly what you see with Zach Wilson. So on the physical and the functional scale alone, Zach Wilson grades very well in contrast to the rest of this class. But then you look over at the mental side of the game and you realize that there's only one quarterback on the mental side of the game who clearly can contend with him, and that's Mac Jones. People talk about the level of competition Zach Wilson has played in 2020. Go watch 2019. There are multiple games where BYU was overmatched against SEC, Pac-12 teams, and Zach Wilson was the only thing on the field that was raising the bar. It was obvious that Zach Wilson was elevating his team in those tough situations. He has poise. He has the right tempo, good decision making. He sees the game quickly. And this is a very high grading trait for him and in this class. The only other quarterback who you can make a debate on who has the best tempo in this class, Mac Jones. And on anticipation, there are three quarterbacks who step to the forefront: Davis Mills, Mac Jones, and Zach Wilson. Once again, right at the top of the ranks when it comes to a mental trait. On his tape, play after play, you're seeing the ball come out as the wide receivers in their break. Of the top 5 quarterbacks in this draft, the only other quarterback who you can talk about consistently making throws in the break of the wide receiver's route is Mac Jones. But when it comes to ball placement, second to none. Zach Wilson is the best ball placement quarterback in this draft. Justin Fields can rival him on the outside perimeter. But on the move, inside the box, Zach Wilson is every bit as good as Justin Fields is outside on the boundaries and deep. Meaning that stellar positive in Fields is in Zach Wilson, but it doesn't have a hole in it. You'll see Zach Wilson throwing back shoulder on slant routes inside the post, opening up zone windows. You will see him throwing on the move to a back shoulder on a wide receiver, high level back shoulder throws. Back shoulder throws that are leading a wide receiver away from the coverage when the wide receiver hasn't even made a break to it yet. This is going to take time and chemistry with his wide receivers to build over the years. At first, this will probably lead to more interceptions, but if you're patient with it, the timing and the chemistry that he will build with his wide receivers is going to create separation on the field. It is a very high-ranking trait with him. It is a trait that Lamar Jackson has that saved his throwing profile as a quarterback. And Zach Wilson doesn't have to save anything, but still has that high-level ball placement. And while there are some throws that Zach Wilson will try and wedge into a spot, a window that is too tight, his vision is very high ranking, and it almost seems to get better when he's on the move. And this is going to open up that play-saving creativity in your quarterback. And what happens when you have a quarterback who has 4 mental traits that grade very, very well and doesn't have the physical trait limitations? Then you have quarterback 1. And that's exactly what Zach Wilson is. I would like to do a deeper dive into this profile, but across the board, the only thing you can do is nitpick. There is no dire negative. There is nothing but high grading positives on Zach Wilson's profile. And with the zip that he throws with, the short and intermediate power in his arm, there isn't a better offense than a Shanahan offense for him. And that's exactly what he's going to get in New York. And whether or not Darnold works in Carolina, and I fully suspect it will, and whether or not it was Gase or not, Zach Wilson with LaFleur is going to succeed in New York. And New York is going to do it right this time. When we redid our evaluation system, when we started finding out the key factors that pointed towards quarterback success, off-platform, vision, ball placement instinct, these were areas that clearly pulled gains. And I really want to urge people to understand that when we saw Patrick Mahomes, we said this is the best off-platform quarterback we have ever seen. And that the GOAT before that was Aaron Rodgers. Zach Wilson grades very well in this area, but he's not in that level. But he also doesn't need to be. Because if LaFleur brings Shanahan's offense along with him to the East Coast, Zach Wilson has been running plays similar to the San Francisco and the Rams playbook all season. He is already familiar with the offense and with the concepts, and with his quick hitting, powerful short and intermediate arm, that will be enough to cut a lot of teams to pieces. But then the creativity on top of it. And this is going to be fun. But this is still a rookie. And you're going to see some, as I like to call it, youthful exuberance, where the playmaker in Zach Wilson tries to do too much, and it leads to some mistakes early on. This will be weaned out of him with time, as he understands the speed of the NFL and the throws that he can and cannot make on this level. But as I always say, I'd rather tame a Mustang than try and turn a pony into one. And with Zach Wilson, you're getting a Mustang. So hold your breath for 2 reasons, New York. Make sure that Trevor Lawrence goes 1, and make sure you pick Zach Wilson. Because with Zach Wilson, you get the best quarterback in the draft. He is capable of efficiency on script. And he is capable of making a play that's dead into something that's efficient. That's exactly what you're looking for. Congratulations, Jets. Love you guys. We need you. Stay strong, and I'll see you on the other side.